Hello and welcome to the Overton Audios podcast. My name's Connor Chadwick.
And my name is John N. Harper, the John.
Indeed, and on today's podcast, we will be discussing Mastermind Volume 4.
Oh, and then later on, Chadders will be talking about the upcoming releases for 2026 on Overton Audios.
Indeed, and of course, before we continue, thank you to our Patreons, Daniel Wild, Anya Coyle, Chelsea Lagan, and Delta Effects. John, how are you?
I'm well. I'm doing good. I've had a busy week. Just recently, I've had a friend over, and we've been staying up till God knows what time, talking about Doctor Who. So that's been quite nice.
Well, that's good. That's good. Well, we are approaching Christmas as of recording. We are recording this on the evening of the 22nd. Yes, ho, 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 indeed. One thing I think we should briefly discuss, I say briefly because I will likely be doing a Dripping Hartnell podcast on this, but War Between the Land and the Sea is finished. And that was quite quick, really. In comparison to when the last podcast came out, I don't think any of it had aired.
Spoiler alert for those who are listening.
The last podcast that came out was on the 12th of November. So yeah, a whole month before War Between the Land and the Sea even got it. It didn't even get a release date when the last podcast was out. So yeah.
The BBC need to hype their stuff up a bit more.
Well, War Between the Land and the Sea was definitely, in terms of its release, it's been fast-tracked because of the Disney deal falling through now.
Yar.
So I think they want it out in 2025. I heard whispers that they were going to aim for it to be weekly from November, but obviously it didn't work. But I did quite like the 2 episodes a week. It felt like a massive event to have an hour and a half, basically. It's why I think the finale, which was yesterday, as of when we're recording, felt really short. I think that was another thing that didn't help, is that the finale was a longer episode, but still not the full hour and a half. We're used to being sat there from 8:30 till 10. Meanwhile, we were sat here from 8:05 to 9 o'clock. So we were kind of missing a little extra half an hour in it, which I feel like would have made all the difference, really, to this particular final episode. But we won't get into the details of the episodes. I really enjoyed War Between the Land and the Sea, though.
So did I. I'm not going to lie. Don't get me wrong. I like to do these. I didn't do one for episode 5 or episode 1, but I like to do these things on Instagram where I'll talk about, on my story, I'll talk about the episode, just without spoilers. And I'm not going to lie. I am so happy with the way this show has gone. It is literally the years and years of Doctor Who. I think I saw that on Twitter somewhere. And it's the kind of thing where, you even got the same cast, with Barclay and stuff like that, with Russell Tovey. But no, I absolutely adore it. And, I love the direction, the thematics, because it also means a lot for me. I was a beach cleaner for 6 months of my life. So this kind of hit me hard at home, if you know what I mean. The finale goes to Herne Bay, which is in Kent. It's 45 minutes away from me. And I'm like, what's going on? I was watching it. I was like, this feels like my life. But just, I'm not falling in love with fish women. So, it's that kind of thing.
Yeah, I think it felt refreshing because when it started, it didn't feel like a Doctor Who spin-off. I quite liked that. It had its own identity, although I have reservations about the leaning into the whole fish love element. I don't hate it, but I wish we had more time, really, to look upon it a bit more. But I'll get into that in more detail at a later date. But no, overall, I think it was a really strong series. I know that in the last 24 hours, a lot of people have had their questions about the ending, but it answered everything.
Yeah, it's one of the rare parts of Doctor Who where everything actually makes sense. And that's there. It actually does wrap up nicely in a bow, which is rare for a
it raises some nice questions about the characters who are left behind, about what happens to them now after all these awful things have happened, which have changed them in many ways. Some characters are very much changed and damaged, and we don't really see a resolution with that. But we know that they'll be back. We do know that.
Hmm.
and that's
No,
been
yeah. No, yeah. I mean, I agree. I mean, I think watching the behind the scenes like interviews as well, like with Russell T Davies and Pete McTighe in the Hooniverse show. I remember seeing like, someone, I think Crystal D asked Pete McTighe like to give a little tease for episode 5, and all he said was woof. And I thought that was quite funny, especially considering how episode
yeah.
5 opens. But again, not going too much into it, we can save that later. But like, I do really like the spin-off. I think this is peak quality Doctor Who material. I think this is the kind of stuff I would have liked to have seen in seasons 1 and 2 of Doctor Who. But then I'm always in the boat of, I think Doctor Who needs to age itself up, aiming for the 12 to 15 bracket, not Torchwood levels, but this is a perfect medium where it's a little bit grittier and it's quite a lot darker. But realistically, I could get like a 12-year-old to watch this. This is like the Doctor Who. Like, this is the darkness that Doctor Who should be able to go to. Not Torchwood levels, but this is as far as it could go in the show itself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and obviously I'd say the fallout, but in the aftermath of the war between the land and the sea, I don't know if you've seen the Big Finish announcement.
No, I haven't. No, what is?
They've
What is the Big
announced a
Finish?
new box set of unit stories, which are throughout. They're called unit eras, so it's throughout all eras of unit, including the 15th Doctors.
Oh,
So
wait.
they've
So
now
it's a
they've
series
got
of
a
box
story.
sets.
Yeah, they've got a story with Melanie and the Vlinks appearing.
Oh, okay. So that's nice. Would that be set before or after the war between the land and the sea?
I don't quite know. It's not been said, but the description that was given in the little news article that Big Finish put out was that Melanie Bush and the Vlinks are in Unit's skyscraper HQ as it's sent into lockdown. I don't think it will be specified when, but it's nice to see that, Doctor Who seems to feel like it's thriving a little bit again, which out of this, which is really nice.
No, I mean, I
So
like it. I mean, that's the thing is, when it comes, the only reason I asked for when it would be set is that me and a couple people have been deciding to create a full timeline of everything that happens in Doctor Who from the beginning to finish. I started with the complicated ones of the 6th and 7th Doctors, and then we're now actually going on to the first Doctors because we've managed to work out a way to have everything happen. There's just a few gaps where things could happen, so it gives gaps for Big Finish to explore some more stuff.
good luck.
Yeah, good luck. I mean, don't get me wrong, you'd need several seasons to explain some of the inconsistencies, but it's the kind of thing where it is possible, and there is actually a through line. It actually does make sense. I mean, don't get me wrong, there are obviously outliers like Lung Barrow, which wouldn't make sense, but it's the kind of thing where, for the most part, all the stories actually can line up with each other. And it's just that kind of thing. But no, like, that's why I was asking, because I'd love to be able to slot this into my little timeline, to be able to see when it will happen.
You speak about timelines.
Ooh.
Shall we discuss Mastermind Volume 4?
Yes, let's go into the vortex. Play the vortex sound effects. Whoa! You didn't play anything, did you?
No. Play the trailer. Overton Audios presents
For years I have waited for this opportunity, awaiting the time that I can get exactly what I want. They want my freedom. They want my life. But I will have my freedom. I will have my life back.
I'd seen a lot of men, women and creatures come through the Starstream facilities over the years, but none of them interested me more than the Master.
My name's Missy.
Missy?
Don't you know what a nickname is?
I'm the Master, and I need your help in saving our future.
Who is he then?
That's the meddling monk, you idiot!
Wait, hang on, I don't have a file! You really didn't expect me to betray you. That's all we do to each other.
Here we go, the final frontier, our last fight. After all this time, I can kill the Guardians of Time.
Mastermind Volume 4, coming the 6th of December 2025 at 12 p.m. And welcome back to the podcast, and I'm still here with Mr. John N. Harper.
Hello, everyone. It is I, the John of N of Harper. And today we are carrying on with the podcast and talking about Mastermind Volume 4. I am the master and you will obey me. On to you, Connor Chadwick.
Indeed. And
Yeah.
so Mastermind Volume 4 has been a really long time coming.
Oh, yeah.
We have basically had it recorded almost fully for about 3 years. It was
Yeah.
only a little bit earlier this year that we decided to do some recasts. And by recasts, I mean not having an Overton brother record it or Michelle Willows. There are some episodes that still have Michelle Willows in, which is just the way it is. But we got some nice recasts in, and it was just a lot better overall. So we did get some recordings done this year, but that was when I had Volume 3 finished. And overall it's been really kind of lethargic to. I don't know if that's the right word.
Lethargic. It's been lethargic. Wait, what?
That's not the right word, is it?
No, lethargic is when you're kind of like, you're kind of spaced out, your brain's not working properly. It's been, this series has been so lethargic.
I mean, not entirely. It's mainly because of how long it's taken to come out because of other projects. But I should say nostalgic because it's both all of Mastermind Volumes 2 to 4 were written pre DW 2012 split.
Yeah.
So it's weird to look at this and see it written from that sort of perspective, you know?
Yeah, no, I mean that's the thing is I don't know if you already said, but I recorded my lines back in 22, and then a lot of the other recordings were done in recent times, and then
Well, only 2.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I think we did a recast of General Marsh in the finale of Volume 4 because the actor who originally played General Marsh bowed out. Even though he had recorded for this, it had just been so long that he's moved on.
Was that Carrion Twine?
No, it was Neil Duffield, but
okay.
he's just no longer available. So Sumner and I were already planning to do some stuff with General Marsh, and I sort of realised, well, actually, we've already got a story with General Marsh in, so this could be a way to get him involved.
Yeah.
So we got Connor J. Sumner to re-record the lines.
Sexy boy.
Yep, and he's been very good in it. We got some people had recorded at the beginning of 2023, which was an odd one. Like editing that. There were some people who recorded who I didn't know properly back then, but now know really, really well. And it was just one of those things where it was all a bit of a nostalgia trip.
Oh yeah.
In a positive light, of course. And it's just been really kind of nice to look back at that era. It's been really, really nice to look back at that era of the story. It's certainly been what's the word? A journey.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing is that all of this, because I took a bit of a time away from all of this, and then I found myself coming back. And the thing is, it's as if I haven't left, because I came back and there was still a year's worth of releases with me in them. So to the audience perspective, I haven't gone, but I stopped making things for nearly 2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mad.
How thrilling.
Mad. Wasn't thrilling.
How not thrilling.
How not thrilling. How drilling.
Yes.
Yes. But no, in terms of doing Mastermind though, like listening back to it, it is interesting because a lot of the photos of the cover arts and me performing is me when I was 18. I'm 22 now. 4 years have passed, so it's that kind of thing where well, not 4 years, 3 and a bit, but it's that kind of thing where I do remember when I recorded it. I'm pretty sure I was drunk one of the times I recorded it. So it's that kind of thing where where I do remember recording those lines and I'm like, holy damn, that was 3.5 years ago. And it's that kind of thing where I do miss playing the Master and I do love that character. And I think I've done quite a bit with the character and it's been quite nice. And I am quite excited to hear Sumner's version of of General Marsh, because it'll be quite interesting to hear more stories from a different Master. Because I think Luke Lane plays a Master, I'm pretty sure, although I don't know if that's canon anymore. I can't remember.
Yeah. Luke Lane plays a Master in prison. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So it's that kind of thing where having stories with other masters is always good, and I'd be quite excited to hear those stories. I would love to write for them as well. That'd be quite cool. But no, I have really enjoyed. I'm not saying this isn't my swan song, but like I've really enjoyed my time playing the character and being able to play, two sides of one coin: the Doctor on Dark Design, and then the Master on in prison. So it's that kind of thing where I've had the best of both worlds as a voiceover artist, learning how to do all of this as well, because it's been a good, I guess, mini coming of age story where I've sort of grown up making things slowly and being able to sort of, because you can hear it, like the old General Marsh, I'm talking a lot like this and I'm so dramatic and blah, you can tell how different that is to the stuff that comes out now, where it's a lot more refined and toned down and not as dramatic. And it's that kind of stuff which I'm here for, seeing the progress, because what is good now wasn't good before. Like I used to be terrible at accents. Have you heard my Scottish accent from a few years ago? It was awful. It's that kind of thing.
Goodness me. I think I might have a little while ago, but I won't subject you to it now.
No.
It has been nice. It has been nice as a good reflective journey off the Master as a character, because the Mastermind story, the volume, was your idea. You had some ideas about. Yeah. You wanted, when we were coming up with a title, you said you wanted to do a volume about your Master, and that's where the kind
I
of
wanted to do the bodies in the water. That's what it was.
yes, it was. Yeah, and then volume 1 was a little bit delayed. I think The Man on the Hill was supposed to be episode 1. It was meant to be a 4-episode volume. And
I think everyone was just busy at the time, or maybe I was busy at the time, because I remember
you were going through a massive writer's block.
Yeah,
You remember when we were
college.
meeting up and heading up to Nottingham, you were writing.
I remember sat on the train, unable to write. I remember that because the script was only meant to be 25 pages. I was on 15, 14 pages. I started on that, and then we had about half an hour, because we were going all the way up to Nottingham, so we were going to be in there for a while, like a good 2 hours. About an hour goes by, and he says, "Oh, have you written it?" And I said, "Yeah." I'd actually cut it down to 12 pages. I had lost 2 or 3 pages in the hour that I was writing it because I just didn't think it was right. And now I'm not so much like that. I am more willing to power through even if things don't feel right, because I can always fix it afterwards. Whereas I used to be very hard on myself, let's say. I mean, I know you've got your perspective of what made me like that, if you know what I mean. But it's just that kind of thing, is that I'm not really sure what was stopping me, because I don't feel as stopped when I'm writing things now. But it's that kind of thing. At the time, I felt I was second guessing every single word I put on the page, but to a point of overthinking, to the point that it was quite bad for my mental health.
Yeah, no, I get you. I remember sitting down as the trains were as the train was coming into London. I basically just yanked your own laptop off you.
Yeah, and you were like, right, I'm doing this, and then you were just typing. I remember that. But then, with Mastermind as a whole, though, with the first volume, I do have great fond memories, because the thing is, when I listen to those audios, I think of when everyone, remember when like those old Zoom calls back in the COVID days? I remember that, and that's where like all the inside jokes that we have come from and stuff like that. I do miss those old days, and it was an interesting time. It was, it had a lot of hope to it, if you know what I mean. I don't know how to describe it, but it just had a lot of hope.
But yeah, so with Mastermind Volume 4, it was a much more, because Volumes 3 and 4, frankly, were put together back to back, really, because there's been such a, I see Volume 3 and 4 as connected, even though to Volumes 2, 3, and 4 were all done at the same time. Volume 2 came out within the year of you recording it. And then because of other stuff like the Torchwood series and everything like that, delaying Mastermind because of key continuity elements that were supposed to have been done way earlier, but even they got delayed. That's the reason why the Mastermind volumes were delayed. But so that as a result, I see volumes 3 and 4 as very heavily connected in that realm because of the gap that's been had between the two. It just feels like such a nice weight off my shoulders to have the 4 volumes of Mastermind out. It's just been a very nice feeling. We've got, for example, with Volume 3, that was a whole serialized story about the Master trying to take over time itself and become the whole master of all. It wasn't until Volume 4, of course, that we've now come back to individual stories, even though there seems to be an overall arc with it, which is the Guardians, trying to escape the Guardians, defeat the Guardians, all that jazz. We've now ended up with individual stories, which has been really nice to delve back into again, because Volume 3 was a nice kind of look into doing a full Volume 1 story in a whole volume, but I have fun with Volume 3, but I don't think the whole format entirely hit the landing, if you know what I mean.
No, yeah, I mean, when it comes to the format and stuff like that, that's the thing with Mastermind. I'm proud of it, but I'm not very. This is my problem with a lot of fan productions, even that I'm a part of, is that I'm not too well versed on all the goings on. I obviously know the stories and what happens, but in terms of the landing, I wouldn't be able to tell you if it did or didn't. And to be honest with you, I think it's fine. I think it worked well. I think the story was okay.
I think the main thing it suffered from was the timing of it it had taken too long to come out, honestly.
No, that's probably true.
Devlin's in it. Devlin hasn't been seen on Overton Audios in 3 years. Hasn't been seen since his volume came out in the summer of 2022.
That's probably a good thing though, because it means that people in the audience get to see a character they haven't seen in a while. So I know that
I'm saying that based on the audience reaction. Yeah. And as well as a couple of people thought Devlin didn't really fit in the story at all and didn't think he belonged there, and also some of them were saying that it's been way too long. We needed a proper reintroduction to him. Of course, that was the issue.
I do remember, because I was actually beach cleaning at the time. I remember listening to Volume 3, and I remember the Master's in a car listening to some. What's the music again? It's like I don't know. And he's like, I liked that song. And no, yeah, I actually do have memories of listening to it now. Sorry, you've reminded me now. I do remember.
Well, you're talking about Volume 3 either way.
Yeah. So it's the 2 Chelseas as well. Was it the 2
yes,
Chelseas?
It is. Yes.
Yeah, that's. I do remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. So a lot of people felt like that lineup of actors and characters haven't been seen in years, and that was the point. It was Mastermind's Volumes 3 and 4 are very much products of their time. Like, we've got in Volume 4, in the Starstream Redemption, we've got actors in that who haven't, we've got Michael Cox playing a nude, and the last time he played a nude was 2021, which was, funnily enough, the year before this recording. But yeah, it's been another 3 years. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's all very kind of the time sort of casting.
Yeah, I mean,
of course,
that's the thing is
we've also got Alia Tori playing Missy. Alia Tori hasn't been seen on Overton Audios in about 2-3 years now. Josh Griggs as the monk hasn't been seen on the channel since the summer of 2023. We
need more Josh Griggs. I'm voting for this.
We do.
I want a volume with the Master and the Monk exclusively with the two of them. I don't know what you'd call it. I don't know.
No, we could call it the Marstonk.
The Marstonk. No, it'd be like the mischievous mastery of chaos. I don't know, of
The
the universe.
monkster.
The monkster.
The
Yeah.
monkster or the mastonk.
The mastonk. The monkster mastonk of the macaronis.
Yeah, it would be nice to see them. It would be nice to see them again. I think you and Josh Griggs' iteration of the monk gel well together. He's the he plays the monk of the Cravat Doctor era as well, so it's all nice and topical, really.
Yeah, we need more of the monk. More monk. Give me the
Monk.
monk. Give
Monk.
me the monk.
Monk.
Monk. Sorry, that's an inside joke that we will not get into.
Anyway, we had a lot of cameos. We have a lot of cameos in the final episode of Mastermind Volume 4. It ties everything together. It ties everything together with the Guardians. They finally make their stand against the Master properly, using all of their forces. We get a nice little reflection on General Marsh when he was an active working general, because it's not often we get to see a lot of that. We don't really see him as a general. We just see him going, "I'm not the Master, and I say so." And now
I'm not the Master, but I will do these ever so slightly mastery things.
Yes. I am not the Master, but every now and again I will do a little smirk.
I'll do a little smirk, and then
I will look into the camera and go, "Shush.
You will obey me."
You will obey." But no, it's
I think the suck mind was getting to you there, sir.
the what?
Nothing.
So, the Mastermind finale was a very interesting one for me. It all lines up. The ending lines up with the last Cravat Doctor volume we had. At the end of the last Cravat Doctor volume, he got aged up by falling into the time vortex. The Doctor was in the Zero Room, trying to heal himself somewhat because he was aged so old that he could have died. But he can't de-age himself. He can only heal his cells. So he's in the Zero Room having that. The companions are outside the TARDIS. And then the TARDIS gets taken and brought to this courtroom where the Red Guardian is reading the Master's rights. The Master is not very pleased about this. And then we look and see the Cravat Doctor, an old man, in fact, walking in. And they look at one another and say, "You." And then that's where that episode ends. But Mastermind Volume 4, as you'll have heard, dear listeners, has ended at the same ending. The Master and the Cravat Doctor are about to have their next meeting after, well, by the time this comes out, it'll be after 6 years. They will finally meet again for what some might call their final confrontation.
Oh, I swear to God, if the episode's called Final Confrontation, Concentration, the final concentration, I'm losing it. Help me. But no.
Yeah.
But no, fine. If the episode's called Final Confrontation, then I will buy you a pack of cookies.
I will have no cookies then.
Yeah. But no, yeah, like I'm quite excited for that. We can have one more last romp before the end of all. Yes,
indeed,
fantastic. But no, like I've really enjoyed playing this character for the last few years, and don't get me wrong, my performance has not been perfect. I'll be honest with you. Like I know that for a fact. Like I remember, like I was really young when I first started playing the role, and I've learned so much from doing it. So thank you so much, my man, for casting me as this, because I wouldn't have learned as much as I have without it. And it's been a very long journey. It's been literal years of my life. I've played the Master since 2018, and you know, it's not like it's coming to an end now, but you know, the story is wrapping up soon, isn't it? It
is. But not now.
Not now, but he will knock 4 times. That's a reference. That's not a reference to any. There's not a reference to a plot line in the series.
John's head will spin, and then everybody else's heads will spin, and then everyone will be John.
Everyone will be John. I am the John of the John race. But no, like yeah,
the John Master.
The John Master. I am the John Master. John me up. I will John in you. I will not repeat those words ever again in my life.
No, don't worry. We've only recorded them.
Yeah. I regret so much now. Everything.
Anyway,
My
that was
entire life is
Mastermind
over.
Volume 4. That was
Yeah.
Mastermind Volume 4. Thank you all. Now, John, shall we go back to the main segment?
I think we probably should. It's the end, after all, and the moment has been prepared for.
And welcome back to the podcast. And it is I, Connor Chadwick. And only me this time. John will be reappearing later in the podcast. However, we had a bit of an issue, which was last night was a bit of a busy night for me. I was very, very tired. I'd had my last day at work before Christmas, and I needed to get this recorded because of Christmas plans. I've had a bit of today, which is the next day after recording, to do this. I've been trying to get this all edited, all scheduled before Christmas. And then I realised, oh no, we have not recorded the comments reading. So I thought, well, I'm here, and luckily I'm one of the hosts, so I will quickly read the comments. And even then, most of the questions, when they pertain to some of the things intrinsically linked to the audios, typically I'm the only one who can answer them, so it makes sense either way. So we're going to start off reading the comments for the first Doctor Adventures, Wanderers in the Fourth Dimension 2. And we start off with the first episode, Beyond Belief. We have a comment here from Just MMs, who says, a rather interesting tale in regards to the simple trick of the TARDIS. It's been a while since I've read into the culture of ancient Greece. This story is really making me want to read up on it again. Then we have a comment from Dr. Reddy Vivus saying, many thanks. It is gratifying to learn that the story has had such a positive impact on you. I hope you have happy reading. And then we have a comment from Gladiator652004, who says, good stuff. I liked how the TARDIS loomed large. As someone said, there is no such thing as a pure historical, and the First Doctor's philosophizing came to the fore. The final words were good too. Like Verity Lambert wanted, there should always be some mystery attached to the Doctor. More! Dr. Eddie Vivus also responded to that comment, saying, that is great feedback. Many thanks. I was worried that I put too much philosophical debate in, but I went back to Sidney Newman's original brief that the show was to have an educational aspect. And that is something that Michael Cox does really well in his writing and, I would argue, show running of this series, is he's always able to maintain the original message and intention behind what the show was created for back in 1963. He does such a good job. Then we have a comment from Yuan the Blue, who says, there is never a dull moment in their journeys, even for a little stop. While some things change, some things stay the same, like how the story of the City Guard plays out. And of course, Dr. Eddie Vivus responds to that, saying, ah yes, indeed, I deliberately set the villain to be somewhat predictable. Oh. I don't know if I'm going to say this word. Let's give it a go. Much like the Tloxel? Right, I'm going to move on. In the Aztecs, mindful that in early Who, we didn't see the character development for the TARDIS crew's antagonist. They were simply baddies, and that was that. And then, of course, there's a follow-up comment, just a single comment from Dr. Eddie Vivus himself, who, if you're not aware, is Michael Cox, the showrunner and writer of this series, who says, thank you to the cast and the production team for all of their hard work. So it appears that episode's been received very, very well, which is always good. So, we move on to the next episode, which is called Revolutionary Minds. We start with the first comment from Gladiator 652004, who says, I wonder if John Smith isn't a personage in disguise. Alonzi, great combination of history and mystery. Really super. Well done. We then have some clarification from Michael Cox on this, who says, many thanks, and no, this is not the 10th Doctor in disguise. I developed John Smith to be someone who would form an instant connection with the Doctor, someone who would make a deep impression on him by dying to save him. This is my explanation as to why the Third Doctor uses John Smith as a pseudonym, and why Smith becomes the face and personality of the 10th Doctor himself, and of course becomes his human incarnation in Human Nature and the Family of Blood. See, that was something that I really enjoyed about what Michael was planning for this story. The original title for this story was A Revolutionary Woman, as the main focus was meant to be on Celia Fiennes. And, she is present in the story, but the focus is now on Celia Fiennes and John Smith. So the title had to change to reflect that. But nonetheless, it was a really, really nice story. And I really enjoyed editing it. It came out a lot longer than I think was anyone's intention. It was the same, almost the same page count as the previous episode, which was only around 40 to 45 minutes. So it was quite a shock to have a big, nearly hour and 20 minute audio drama. I think it's my second longest audio drama now as a result. Anyway, we move on. So we have a single comment from Dr. Rudy Vivas, who said, I haven't had the opportunity to speak to any of my fellow cast members, but by judging by their tone of their superb performances, I think they enjoyed themselves bringing their characters to life. Sincere thanks to them all and to the production team for a job well done. Then we have a comment from Yuan the Blue, who says, a simple quest to find a place to stay the night turns into another matter altogether. Excellently done. I also enjoyed this possible fan take on why the Doctor uses John Smith as an alias, which of course Dr. Olivia was comment saying, many thanks, that's very much appreciated. We then have a comment from the Review Dude 292, who says, it's a real step in the right direction to use existing Doctors. I would love some 7th Doctor stuff. We have been trying to develop other Doctors. We did a lot of stuff with the 13th Doctor a couple of years ago, and we do still have things planned in the works for something like that. But all the continuity pieces that we've got for the Prism universe that we have, with the shared fan universe that we're running on Overton Audios and Fractured Timeline, means that there are a lot of I say original characters. There are a lot of original takes on existing characters that we have on our fan Doctors that we're still trying to make. But I would like to, at some point, lean into fan Doctors. We have been looking into 2nd Doctor, potentially. Maybe even 4th Doctor. We're not entirely sure. It's still very, very early days. So, next comment from Just MMS, who says, it has taken me a damn long time to finish this episode. Sadly, real life stuff does get in the way, but this was a lovely long adventure which, despite being set in the past, makes you also look forward into the future. A very lovely comment, and commented just in time. As of recording, that comment is only 3 hours old. So, you got in there just in time. So moving on to the next episode, which is called Prelude. We start with a comment from Dr. Rudy Vivas, no less, who says, thank you to the cast for breathing life into the characters, to Isaac for the cover art, and of course to Connor for bringing all of the different elements of the story together with his usual attention to detail. Of course, I'm very grateful to Michael Cox for even writing it and having the idea to continue this in the first place. It was initially planned way back when to just be a very limited set of stories, because we thought we were limited in what we could do. But since then, we have gone up and up, being able to get cast members involved to play the original characters, which has been so great. We had another comment from Yuan the Blue, who says, nice to see some family bonding instead of a crisis, which is nice. Curious to see where the ending thread will lead. Dr. Rudy Vivas responds, saying, indeed, it's important to have some semblance of normality of domestic life once in a while. What's still to come will certainly disturb it. We have a comment from Meg Elizabeth 9492, who says, a nice, relatively low stakes slice of a life story for the Doctor and Susan, with a lot of stirrings of a plot developing at the end there. Very nice. Dr. Rudy Vivas responded to that also, saying, Well, there was one-eyed flying purple people eater at the beginning who nearly made the Doctor and Susan its lunch. But seriously, many thanks for the kind comment, which is very much appreciated. Yes, there's certainly more to come for the Doctor and Susan. Then we have a comment from Gladiator652004, who says, this episode had the chase quality with 3 mini-stories, and I thought it worked really well. I wondered at the Flying Guinea Pigs adventure, but I saw it shared the don't expect life to be fair theme of the Chopin, God, I've said that wrong, of the Chopin encounter. Very interesting history on Chopin and Sands, and the CIA ending intriguing. Susan's a headphones dodger in the ship. Dr. Eddie Vivas responded, many thanks. Yes, there are a number of thematic juxtapositions, one of which will become clearer in due course. Which, of course, we will actually be talking about in a bit in the 2026 releases, when we talk about what's coming up next for the first Doctor and Susan. As a result, we move on to Sherlock Holmes, actually. Sherlock Holmes, The Dead Man, which is the second episode of Volume 4, but Volume 4 is coming out sporadically for when we have time to be able to do it, because obviously we've got all these things planned. Next year being the 10 years special year of Overton Audios, we are trying our best to get everything as covered as possible. So we have a comment from Dr. Eddie Vivas, who says, one can't say more fun from Sherlock Holmes, as it is never light-hearted. It is invariably a deep dive into the depths of both the dark and dangerous world of Sherlock's time and psyches of the key players. Compelling is maybe the best word. And then we have a comment from someone called Logan Dunavant 863, and I will say this ahead of it. I know that some people, when I get to co-host or read in or appear in podcast segments, don't really pay mind of this. I try to. This is a hate comment I'm about to read. So there is some strong language. So here we go. The comment reads, "Shit AI fake. May the spirit of Sir Arthur Conan Doyle take a shit in your breakfast." So these Sherlock Holmes audios, they have gotten the attention of the Sherlock Holmes community, or fan community. Somebody had told me that essentially they have a Sherlock Holmes fan magazine where they all contribute to this magazine. They talk about elements of the characters, and they also share fan productions and discuss them. And I was told that I was in this magazine, that Overton Audios, the productions of Sherlock Holmes, are in this magazine. So I typically find that I actually got a hate comment on the trailer for The Empty Hearse quite a few months ago now, just referring to my weight at the time, because I was a very big individual, shall we say. Probably fat would probably be the better word, but a lot of people don't like it when I say that. So a big individual. I have since been on a massive weight loss, not because of that comment. I was doing it anyway. Those photos were taken a long time ago. But I've since been on a massive weight loss, which I haven't actually really, I don't know if I've mentioned on the podcast before, but we're coming to the end of it now, and I've lost about 7 stone over the course of the year. So I'm now much closer to around 20 stone now than I was. But being 6 foot, I look a lot better than it sounds in terms of the weight. But nonetheless, it's always interesting getting hate comments, because I don't get them often. Not really. I have a very polite, dedicated community who watch these audios, and also if they have an issue or a comment, they will never say it with malice, which is always so appreciated. This person, someone brand new, I've never seen them comment on anything on Overton Audios before, but it was always kind of, I always see hate comments as just as humbling as constructive criticism. I very rarely get such explicit hate comments as this, but I wanted to read it out to be completely open, and also to discuss it, because obviously, not everyone will have the same reaction as me. But I also understand that there are people out there who, I'm not going to not read. I'm not going to not read the comment for starters. But there are some people out there who, don't expect me to read it out and talk about it and potentially call it out. So there. Anyway, we move on to the comments for the Sherlock Holmes The Dead Man full story itself. Those were the comments on the trailer that we just read. So now we go on to the comments for the actual story. So we have a comment here from Yuan the Blue who says, I can understand why this particular installation would result in mass confusion as dead men walk once more, though foreseeing the eventual reforging of friendship between Sherlock and Watson was great to see too. It will not be like the old days. It never will. Still, they can at least talk. Looking forward to learning how the next chapter goes. Yes, so we are slowly changing the dynamic of Holmes and Watson, or Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watson, in this series. We wrote The Empty Hearse, and we thought we can't have them go back to the way they are. And if, Watson's so happy to see Sherlock, then there needs to be some ramifications for the people around them, which we thought might be quite interesting to do. So we're building up on that over time, but when we do any future Sherlock Holmes volumes, they will be done with a lot more, consistency. They'll come out as a volume rather than as they are currently annually. The next comment is by Dr. Eddie Vivas, who says, some clever twists in this tale. It was good to explore the impact of Sherlock's deception on the Watson family. Healing and the rebuilding of trust are usually possible, but they do require time and commitment. Great drama. And thank you to everyone who comments on these, for starters. A lot of people, like myself, become very reflective at the end of a year, and I look back on what's happened in the year, who's been there, and who've always been supportive of the stuff I make. And we've always consistently had comments on these audio dramas, whether or not it's single comment or it's a load of comments. It's very clear to see where that there's always an audience there for what I'm making, even no matter the size, and that's the least of the worries. I'm just happy that people are able to take enjoyment from what I make, and I really enjoy watching people enjoy and comment on this and get really invested in in the stories that myself and many others that I collaborate with are trying to tell. It's always great to see. So yes, we shall go back to the segment with myself and John, where we will be talking about the 2026 releases. And welcome back to the podcast, and I'm still here with Mr. John N. Harper.
Hello, my name is John N. Harper and nothing else.
Okay, I hope you've all taken note of that, everyone listening. So, we have just talked about Mastermind Volume 4, a little bit of comments reading, and now, why don't we see what's coming out on Overton Audios in 2026?
We should! Let's go!
That was all the 2026 releases, and we're going to quickly discuss them, or maybe I will, because John might not necessarily know about all of them.
I know nothing, so I will, every single time, so basically, Connor, every single time you say something, give me a second to go, and then carry on.
Okay, so the first one is the third volume of Wanderers in the Fourth Dimension, which is the first Doctor Adventures, which is called The Magenta War. There you go. It is a massive 7-part epic written by Michael Cox about over the course of a couple of years. It's 7 episodes which range between 45 to 60 minutes each. It is a massive massive story, and it will set the tone and a new landscape for the first Doctor stories going forward. It explores many elements in the Doctor Who lore that we know, but with the first Doctor and Susan naturally prior to Ian and Barbara. So it's very new ground and feels very fresh and very early versions of this lore. I hope that everyone enjoys it. It's 7 parts. It's going to be coming out throughout January and February 2026. We then follow up with the Paternoster Gang Future Outcomes 3, which is obviously, as you can tell from the title, the 3rd volume of that particular range. At the end of volume 2, we saw the Paternoster Gang trying to get back to their native time of 1892, but overshooting and getting to 1842. So now, rather than being trapped in the future, they are trapped in the past. And
so
this
it's
3rd
basically
volume,
Back to the Future.
yeah, I suppose, yeah. I didn't quite think of it that way, but yeah. And we will see them having to navigate their past, all of them this time. Even Henry is out of his time. And we will see what ramifications that has to the future that they're trying to get back to. We then have a story coming out in April. Oh, I should also add that the Paternoster Gang Future Outcomes 3 is coming out in March.
Oh.
Yes. Then we have The Fallen, which is there's not a lot I want to say about this, but it acts as a standalone story that connects to a much larger volume coming out much later in the year. People who may recognize the font for The Fallen will be able to know what it is. But it is a one-off audio drama connected to a larger story.
Set in the Transformers universe.
Oh, of course.
I mean, Revenge of the Fallen. You not seen that movie? It's great. It's terrible, but still.
I've never seen any of the Transformer movies. Okay, so that's the Fallen, which is coming out April next year, 2026. We then have the 4th volume of Wanderers in the Fourth Dimension, which is called Home is Where the Heart Is. Now, Home is Where the Heart is acts as very much an epilogue to the big 7-part epic. That will be coming out in April as well. So there'll be these 2 one-off audios, 2 singular audios coming out in April. We then have, as if it's taken so long already, we then have Supers Volume 4.
Ooh.
Exactly, which will be coming out in June 2026.
Delectable.
Indeed. And yes. And then we have Torchwood Solo Retrospective. And that is the follow-up of the Knife Trilogy remakes that we've been doing this year. When you're probably listening to this, it'll be 2026 probably. So in 2025 in the summer, we did a Torchwood Solo volume of World at War with Mr. John and Harper here, actually playing like evil German men.
Hello there. I'm the evil German man.
Exactly. And in this one is a remake of Torchwood Retrospective, which is part of the original Knife Trilogy. So we're going to the sort of on the cusp of the 80s, where we're going to be exploring Matt as he continues to try and live through the 20th century. So he can get back to the 21st century and be reunited with his dearly beloved wife. So that's exciting. I think so. I hope you all think so too. And that's going to be coming out in July of 2026. At least that's the aim. Then the last one we have is a very, I'd like to think it's a surprise reveal. And that is that we are making a special episode of General Marsh. which will be coming out in the autumn of 2026. Now, John, you recorded for this recently.
Wait, did I? I can't remember.
Oh,
What?
yeah. You reprised your role as General Marsh.
Did I?
Yes.
When?
Like a month ago.
Okay.
Cool. Well, there you go. That's all the teasers you're getting.
It's very good. It's the one where I'm like,
well,
old
what are you
style.
doing?
What are you doing, Master Ashton?
I'm General Marsh.
The absolute irony of earlier me talking about it and saying like, yeah, I used to be really dramatic, and then now you're talking about an audio drama which was recently recorded.
I'm General Marsh. Master Ashton.
Master Ashton, I'm General Marsh, and you will listen to me.
You won't get away from me, Veritas.
You won't get away from me. I mean, that was just a kid trying to sound grown up and not working. Now I can just be like, I am the master, and you will obey me.
Yeah.
But back then it was a lot of like this and going, I'm trying to be older than I am.
Indeed. So for anyone who's listened to this podcast who've never really listened to our early stuff, General Marsh was 2 volumes that got produced in 2019 and 2020, where it followed John's iteration of the Master before he fully became the Master again. This General Marsh story will look at both versions of General Marsh, John's version, and then Connor J. Sumner's version, who will have, as I mentioned, has been seen in Mastermind Volume 4 that has just come out. So that is everything that is coming out, I believe. What
is that the entirety of 2026?
Well, no, but they're the only ones I feel safe announcing at the moment. I do not want to announce anything that I feel could be compromised, because last year we announced the first Frontier Doctor volume, and we had tons of issues with that. We had tons of issues. Yeah, we nearly
in the dark side.
Oh, but I think now that we've discussed that, sir, I think that might be the end of the podcast.
Oh, is it really that? Is it over already? Jesus, are you serious? It's already over?
Yeah, sadly.
Oh my God, I can't be tolerating such short podcastings. I know how thirsty these Overton Audios fans of yours are. They need their audio fix, am I right? I'll take that as a no.
Well,
Goodbye,
they can't.
Everyone.
Well, they can't respond.
Just tell you what, yeah. Comment down below on the kinds of things that entertain you the most about Overton Audios, the kinds of things that make you go, this is why I come here. Comment down below that this is the request from Overton Audios, and that it'll be read out probably next month. I don't know. Am I going to be here next month?
No.
Yeah, I will be in the trenches of hell, so unfortunately I won't be here to read them, but I'm sure Connor will be. So comment down below, what is the reason you keep coming back? Why do you keep coming back for more?
Thank you, John. I look forward to seeing everyone's responses, because they are bound to be plentiful.
Is that sarcasm?
Yes.
Oh, wait, you never know. If you just, I tell you what, clip this segment of the podcast and release it as its own video so people get the picture.
This is true. I could do.
Share it into the group chat. Just share it everywhere. Just share that segment so we get enough comments.
Perhaps. Well,
yeah.
Either way,
TikTok and everything.
Yeah.
Oh.
Thank you all to those who are listening to the podcast, and also to those who may not be but have listened to some of the audios we've produced this year. It's been very fun, and very apt that we begin we technically are beginning the 10 years or the 10-year celebrations of Overton Audios.
A decade
next year, or 2026, depending on when you're listening to this.
Mine's technically 2027. Well, that's the thing. It's technically 2027 because of the original version of The Curse of Time, but then the proper audios didn't start until February 2018. So
you can celebrate 10 years of The Curse of Time.
Yeah, I could do that in late 2027.
Yeah, do
So
something
that-
similar. Do something similar to what Big Finish did with the Sirens of Time Redux. You can do the Curse of Time Redux, which I think you're planning anyway.
Ironically, that's probably going to come out next year, so it might actually be more like a Three Doctors thing, where it happens about nearly 11 months prior to the occasion.
Oh,
Yeah, but I mean, I shouldn't have said that actually, because that means people are now aware that I've worked on enough of it to be able to say that it could come out next year. So pretend that I didn't say anything, and that Dark Legends is merely a myth. Quite literally, it is a legend of darkness. It's not happening. I don't know what you're talking about.
and in that case, I think we should say farewell.
Farewell.
Indeed. See you all later. Bye bye.